Cleopatra, one of the greatest and most iconic women to have ever ruled the ancient Egyptian empire, her resting place along with her lover has been a mystery for centuries now. But the recent findings could unveil this mystifying secret.
Once again, we are delving into the fascinating realm of ancient Egypt, along with a woman whose name has endured the ages, Cleopatra. Get ready to be amazed as we reveal one of history's most recognizable figures' amazing existence. Let's go back in time to the land of the pyramids and the pharaohs. The Egyptian Queen Cleopatra was a multifaceted personality. She was an innovator, a seductress, and an effective diplomat. She ascended to the kingdom at the youthful age of 18 after being born in 69 BCE. But don't let Cleopatra's youth deceive you. She had a shrewd mind and unwavering desire that would influence Egypt's fate and make an everlasting impression on history. Cleopatra had a lot of difficulties as a queen. The Roman invasion had its sights set on Egypt, a sought-after state. But Cleopatra wasn't content to just savor her throne's solitude. She deftly created political coalitions and even developed friendships with some of Rome's most powerful individuals, such as Mark Antony and Julius Caesar. However, Cleopatra's influence was derived from more than just her connections to strong men. She was a skilled linguist, conversing effectively in Egyptian, Greek, and Latin, among other languages. Because of her fluency in the language, she was able to speak with her people directly and win their devotion and cooperation. Cleopatra was an astute politician, an astute monarch, and a pro at public relations. Numerous innovations that Cleopatra carried out during her reign helped her people live better. To ensure the prosperity of Egypt, she concentrated on economic development, irrigation, and education. Cleopatra's influence extended far beyond her own realm. As a patron of the arts, she aided Egypt's culture by funding poets, philosophers, and architects. Cleopatra's story, however, took a terrible turn, as with many stories of strength and ambition. After their armies were routed at the Battle of Actium, Antony and Cleopatra realized their cause was hopeless. Cleopatra committed suicide rather than risk being apprehended and humiliated, ensuring her place among history's most intriguing individuals. We remain enthralled by the tale of Cleopatra because of her unflinching will, obvious charisma, and political savvy. Her life is a living example of how strong women have been throughout history. The world will never forget how Cleopatra attacked the most powerful empire of her day, disobeyed social conventions, and changed history forever. It is important to take into account how history has seen Cleopatra in order to fully appreciate her beauty. Ancient stories, notably those penned by her Roman rivals, frequently depicted Cleopatra as an enchantress who used her beauty to sway strong men. However, given that they were definitely affected by political objectives and propaganda, it is critical to investigate the validity of such assertions. Even the Roman historian Plutarch, who painted Cleopatra as a seductress, acknowledged that beauty was not what made her stand out. As opposed to that, he emphasized her intelligence, wit, and charm, which she expertly used to her advantage. Cleopatra was well known for her ability to speak eloquently in several languages, which made her an alluring conversationalist. We need to know the Egyptian ideals of beauty in order to fully appreciate Cleopatra's charm. Egyptian women were expected to have a perfect complexion, long glossy hair, almond-shaped eyes, and a slim build. The societal convictions and ideals of the time are frequently reflected in sculptures and paintings that had these characteristics. Due to her Macedonian Greek ancestry, Cleopatra's appearance combined Egyptian and Greek aesthetics. Fair skin, delicate features, and perfect face proportions were prized characteristics of Greek beauty. Given that historical accounts indicate that Cleopatra performed extensive beauty rituals and decked herself out with pricey jewelry, it is possible that she incorporated these ideas into her beauty routine. Her entrancing stare is one of Cleopatra's most recognizable traits. Her eyes are described in numerous historical records as mesmerizing and magnetic, with a seductive glimmer that could seduce even the most stoic of men. According to some historians, Cleopatra might have used kohl, an ancient Egyptian makeup derived from pulverized minerals, to accentuate her eyes. Cleopatra was renowned for having beautiful skin as well. She is thought to have used a combination of organic remedies, including milk baths, honey, and oils, to keep her skin looking young and bright. During her day, these cosmetic procedures were commonplace and were seen as opulent and extravagant. In addition, Cleopatra's appeal went beyond only her looks. Her magnetic magnetism enthralled everyone in her vicinity. Her beauty was mostly a result of her knowledge, humor, and charm. Cleopatra made use of her charm and intelligence to sway important men and change the course of history because she was aware of the pervasive and seductive powers. Cleopatra has long been regarded as the definition of beauty, winning the hearts of strong men and having a significant influence on the political climate of ancient Egypt. But what if I told you that the idea of Cleopatra's unrivaled beauty might just be a fascinating myth? Shakespeare's plays and Hollywood remakes are just two examples of how Cleopatra's image as a beauty has penetrated popular culture. She is frequently portrayed as a charming temptress who seduces powerful men. This portrayal solidified the notion that Cleopatra's outward appearance was what made her so influential and fascinating. A more complex picture, however, becomes clearer when we go further into historical accounts. It is crucial to recognize that Cleopatra lived in a period in society where beauty was highly respected and wielded tremendous influence. Physical attractiveness was closely linked to divinity and aristocracy in ancient Egypt. As a queen, Cleopatra recognized the need of conveying an air of authority and charm. To increase her political clout and secure the continuity of her rule, she took advantage of this notion. As a master of propaganda, Cleopatra meticulously cultivated her public persona in order to preserve her position of power. She was aware of how attractiveness affected how people perceived her and made use of it. Cleopatra sought to increase her influence, win supporters, and project an air of mystique and intrigue by portraying herself as a woman of unrivaled beauty. She did this in an effort to win not only the hearts and minds of her subjects, but also the hearts and brains of strong men like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. But it's crucial to consider whether the descriptions of Cleopatra's beauty were true to life or embellished for political and propaganda ends. Cleopatra's physical appearance isn't the main focus of many of the historical accounts that have survived. Instead, they place more emphasis on her humor, charm, and intelligence. Greek historian Plutarch, who was alive for about a century after Cleopatra's reign, said she was more captivating in speech than in appearance. He emphasized her charisma and ability to persuade others as her genuine sources of power. In addition, there are deviations from normal beauty standards in the coins and busts produced during Cleopatra's reign. These depictions place more emphasis on her regal stature, wisdom, and authority than on her adherence to the standards of physical beauty. According to these creative representations, Cleopatra herself may have thought that her political and intellectual abilities were more important than her outward looks. The ideal of beauty in that era was very different from our modern perceptions, and it is important to take that into account when analyzing Cleopatra's appearance. Because she was of Greek Macedonian descent, she might not have adhered to the traditional Egyptian beauty standards. Plutarch, who as we just mentioned was a Greek historian who lived almost a century after Cleopatra's rule, is one of the most important ancient sources we have. He claims Cleopatra was known more for her intellect, charm, and charisma than for her physical beauty, even mentioning that her charm was so strong that it made up for any lack of exceptional looks. Plutarch, who was a highly regarded historian and philosopher, known for his biographies of notable figures from ancient Greece and Rome, provides insight into the character and qualities of Cleopatra in his work, The Life of Antony, and his writings bear considerable weight when examining the accounts of Cleopatra's beauty. While acknowledging Cleopatra's allure, Plutarch emphasizes her intellectual prowess and charismatic personality, highlighting her wit, intelligence, and persuasion abilities as the true sources of her influence over strong men like Caesar and Antony. Plutarch even goes as far as to say that Cleopatra's charm made up for any lack of exceptional physical beauty she may have had. Plutarch's emphasis on her intellectual and persuasive skills suggests that Cleopatra's allure went far beyond mere physical attractiveness. Rather, it was her charm, charisma, and ability to engage in meaningful conversations and debates that left a lasting impression on those who encountered her. This perspective challenges a prevailing narrative that Cleopatra's physical beauty was the driving force behind her captivating presence. It should be noted that while Plutarch lived long after Cleopatra, his works were based on historical accounts and secondhand knowledge, yet his work offers insightful perspectives into how Cleopatra was viewed and how she affected those around her. The description of Cleopatra by Plutarch as a charming and intelligent woman is consistent with other historical accounts and anecdotes. It was said that Cleopatra spoke multiple languages fluently, including Egyptian, Greek, and Latin, which allowed her to communicate effectively with a diverse range of people. This linguistic prowess, coupled with her natural intelligence, enabled her to navigate complex landscapes politically and form alliances with influential figures. Moreover, Cleopatra's ability to win over the hearts and minds of strong men like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony speaks volumes about her personal magnetism. It was her charm, charisma, and intellectual compatibility that drew these powerful leaders to her side, rather than any superficial notions of physical beauty. Cleopatra's political sagacity, coupled with her persuasive skills, allowed her to exert significant influence and shape the course of history. While Cleopatra may not have possessed the conventional attributes of physical attractiveness, her intelligence, wit, and charm propelled her to the forefront of the political stage, and she strategically used these qualities to forge alliances, exert influence, and secure her position as a formidable ruler. It is important to understand that beauty in its many forms extends beyond physical appearance. Cleopatra's beauty lay in her capacity to engender loyalty, foster intellectual connections, and influence the influential figures of her time. Her allure was not merely skin deep, but rooted in her captivating personality and intellectual prowess. The images of Cleopatra on ancient coins and busts created during her lifetime offer a unique glimpse into how she wanted to be perceived by her contemporaries and future generations. Surprisingly, these representations deviate from the conventional attributes of beauty, instead emphasizing her regal stature, intelligence, and power. And this is yet another fascinating aspect that sheds light on Cleopatra's beauty. It's through these artistic representations of her that we gain insight into her perception of herself and the qualities Cleopatra valued. Ancient coins and busts serve as valuable historical artifacts that provide us with visual evidence of how Cleopatra wished to be remembered. These representations were created during her reign, offering a glimpse into the image she sought to project to her subjects and those who would come after her. When we look at the coins that were produced under Cleopatra's rule, we see a departure from the traditional standards of beauty. Instead of showcasing delicate features and flawless physical attributes, these coins show Cleopatra with a regal and commanding presence. Her profile is strong and powerful, displaying her authority and position as the Queen of Egypt. It is as if she wanted to be remembered not only for her physical beauty, but for the power she held and the influence she had. These three-dimensional sculptures capture Cleopatra's distinctive facial features, often with an expression that exudes confidence and wisdom. In a similar way, they show her strength and intelligence. The emphasis on Cleopatra's regal stature and intelligence in these artistic representations challenges the idea that her physical beauty was her main asset, and suggests that Cleopatra herself valued her position as a strong queen and the intellectual abilities that allowed her to navigate the perilous political landscape of her time. Since Cleopatra herself was of Greek Macedonian descent, it is important to remember that she ruled during a period when Egypt was transitioning from an ancient Egyptian civilization to one that was heavily influenced by Greek and Roman cultures. By immortalizing her likeness in such prestigious forms, Cleopatra aimed to secure her place in history and ensure that subsequent generations would remember her as a powerful and influential queen. These representations of Cleopatra on coins and busts also serve as a testament to her ambition and desire for lasting recognition. While some might have expected Cleopatra to conform to conventional beauty ideals, she instead chose to project an image that highlighted her strength, intelligence, and regal presence. This unconventional approach speaks to her confidence and her recognition that her true power lay in her intellect and leadership skills. So, let's now turn our attention to a remarkable artifact that has the power to alter how we view Cleopatra's beauty. It is a tiny, wonderfully carved ivory figurine known as the Cleopatra bust, found in the sands of antiquity in Egypt. Behold, the Cleopatra bust, a remarkable work of ancient art thought to represent Cleopatra herself. The Cleopatra bust, with its striking realism and departure from traditional depictions, has the power to upend our preconceived notions of Cleopatra's beauty and challenges the prevalent, idealized image we have of her. Rather than adhering to societal standards of beauty, this artifact suggests that Cleopatra's beauty was more nuanced and individualistic. There are countless pieces of art and literature that have perpetuated the idea of Cleopatra as a mesmerizing beauty with captivating eyes and a captivating presence over the centuries, cementing it in our collective consciousness. This artifact invites us to peel back the layers of romanticized imagery and catch a glimpse of the real Cleopatra, a powerful and intelligent ruler who commanded respect and changed history. The Cleopatra bust forces us to reconsider the narrow confines of beauty that history has imposed upon her. It presents us with a woman who may not fit the conventional standards of attractiveness, yet exudes a certain magnetism and transcends physical appearance. Society frequently idolizes and celebrates those who conform to a certain mold of attractiveness, ignoring the myriad of other characteristics that make an individual exceptional. Cleopatra, however, defies these restrictive definitions. Her allure lay not only in her physical features, but also in her intelligence, her wit, and her ability to charm those around her. The Cleopatra bust serves as a reminder that beauty is not a one-size-fits-all concept, highlighting the significance of embracing individuality and celebrating the distinctive qualities that make each person alluring in their own way. Cleopatra's beauty, as represented by this artifact, tells a story of resilience, intelligence, and charisma, a beauty that emanated from within and left a lasting impression on those with whom she came into contact. The Cleopatra bust encourages us to be critical thinkers, to seek evidence, and to approach history with an open mind by challenging the prevalent, idealized image of Cleopatra. It does this by challenging the narratives that have been passed down to us and by reminding us that history is not static, but an ever-evolving puzzle waiting to be deciphered. Each new piece of evidence brings us closer to a more accurate understanding of the past and the people who shaped it. It makes us wonder about the veracity of the representations of Cleopatra that have shaped our understanding of her throughout history, and challenges us to consider the possibility that Cleopatra's true allure lay in her intelligence, charisma, and sheer power, rather than just her outward beauty. But why does this matter? Why should we care about Cleopatra's beauty, or lack thereof? Well, it's about understanding history and the people who shaped it. Cleopatra was not just a beautiful queen. She was a formidable leader, a diplomat, and a strategist who defied all odds to protect her kingdom. By focusing solely on her physical beauty, we run the risk of overshadowing her remarkable achievements and undermining her rightful place in history. What can we learn from all of this? First and foremost, Cleopatra's beauty should never define her legacy. Rather, we must recognize and celebrate her intelligence, her resilience, and her unwavering determination. It's a reminder that true power lies in one's abilities, not outward appearance. The Cleopatra bust also acts as a potent symbol, reminding us to be critical thinkers, to seek evidence, and to challenge presumptions. It teaches us that history is not set in stone, but rather it is a puzzle waiting to be solved, and every piece of evidence we unearth brings us closer to a clearer understanding of the past. Cleopatra's beauty lay in her intelligence, charisma, and the ability to command respect. She was a force to be reckoned with, a woman who defied conventions and left an indelible mark on history. Let's remember that beauty is subjective, and it comes in many forms as we draw to a close this fascinating exploration. The next time you think of Cleopatra, let's celebrate her as a brilliant strategist, an inspiring leader, and a symbol of female empowerment, rather than just as a mere beauty icon. And who knows? The discovery of the Cleopatra bust might just be the start of a new chapter in understanding this remarkable historical figure. If you're a literature enthusiast, you might have had a perception of Cleopatra. Did this discovery change something? Is it hard to believe? Please share your views in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like and share it with the people who still think Helen and Cleopatra were the most beautiful women on this planet. And for more mind-blowing content, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And we'll see you soon in our next video. Thanks for watching.